Hello, everybody. Buddy Web, Midland, Texas. I posted a story on my Facebook today called "Also Party Murders," and I talk about that a lot. But this is a detailed story that I plan on sending to the mayor and city council, and hopefully it gets to the police. Even though I believe they have a connection, the Midland Police Department does. Anyway, I'm going to start. My friend, Angie Mungia Herrley, worked in the same building that I did at Claydesta Plaza. It was building 10. She told me that two guys had told her that she was going to be working at the oil show parties that year in 2010. The Permian Basin International Oil Show was happening that year during the week of October 25th and October 28th. It's a week-long event. Each morning, Angie would come by my home on her way to work from Odessa, Texas, where she lived, and after work, she would come over to my house again. During the week of the oil show, she would leave my home each afternoon and go to where the parties were held. We would talk on the phone while she drove there, which took about 5 minutes. So the parties were 5 minutes from my house. I didn't know it then, but I'm sure now that the parties were held in the underground homes, and one of those is in my backyard. I believe that she was driving to the Midland Home Depot store, and somewhere in that store was a tunnel that led back to my home from a tunnel that was a tunnel entrance that led back to my home from a tunnel that I found on old Google Earth maps. A lady later told me that she remembered driving by the Home Depot parking lot late at night, and she saw the parking lot full of cars when the store was closed. Each night of the oil show, Angie and I would talk on the phone, and every evening she would put me on hold at 11 p.m. while she went to get her pill. This would make her sleepy, and we would then get off the phone a little bit later. It's my understanding that the sex traffickers there were drugging all the women and girls after they took their pill. Men would, and after they took their pill, men would come in and have sex with them. The ex-wife later told me that the pill was an antidepressant. She didn't say how she knew this, but I suspected that she had been to the parties that year or another year. One day during break time at work, a safety guy that worked in our building for CUD, I think his name was Carl, came up to Angie and said, "I got mine last night." And she bowed her head in shame. I felt sure that he was also at those parties. One morning, Angie come by my home and told me that this girl who was crying and then didn't wake up. My understanding is that she was overdosed. After this week was over, Angie told me that she was given $26,000 in cash, and possibly a money trail could be found confirming this exact amount. I tried to get Angie to report this murder, but she was afraid and told me that high-level police were also at those parties. We quit talking after this. I tried to report it on my own at the Midland Police Department, but the woman at the desk told me that nobody was there for me to talk to. She acted like she recognized me when I walked in, and I just moved to town a couple years earlier. I was given a phone number of a detective to call, which I did, but I got voicemail. I left my name and number twice, but he didn't call me back. It may be possible to find the phone records to verify this call. Okay? You can bet one thing, I'm telling the truth. A year and a half later, I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut and burglar alarms going on my attic. Premeditated, capital attempted murder. Proof was found in 2019 that 5 Midland Police Department officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were under my home that night. I wondered if they were also at the underground oil show parties where the girl was murdered in 2010. Interestingly, the previous owner of my home, Mike Lawon, died the week before the oil show parties were going to start in 2008. I believe that he was killed here and taken to his mom's house in Fort Worth, and maybe because of the oil show parties held in the underground home in his backyard. After Mike died, I transferred to town and I bought this home without knowing about the underground parties. The year before the murder attempt, I reported 5 co-workers to my supervisor, Dane Wiggins, because I believe they knew who was breaking into my home. I now believe that the reason they knew was because they knew about the oil show parties in my backyard. After I survived the murder attempt but left crippled for life, I was put on LTD, or long-term disability. I had a return to work permit from my doctor for my desk job. I was a programmer, but Dane said the HR didn't want me to come back. It's my understanding that most all of the people that I'd reported were then laid off. I suspected this was a cover-up. The HR manager, Shayna Troyer, later threatened me on Facebook. She was smearing my name and says, I don't appreciate being associated with your batshit lunatic cravings. I felt like spreading life-destroying lies about me in the public when I'm the crippled victim of a home invasion and premeditated murder attempt has been done to cover up the crimes and murders connected with the underground homes and the parties held down there. For this reason, I suspect that Shayna may also know about the underground oil show parties held in my backyard. I work for DCP Midstream, which is owned by Duke Energy, Conoco, and ConocoPhillips oil companies. Okay, which them companies may know something about these $1 million underground homes. Here was a screenshot that I used. I shared. It was Tisha Ann Wilkinson Brumley said, I've had friends been involved in those oil show parties. They're exactly what you say. There are underground homes. My sister used to do those oil parties, and I got close to them, but she stopped that. Okay. I have a few comments here I want to show you. One, I believe that Angie was driving around parking in the Home Depot parking lot right here. And right across here is where they're digging right now. I've been making videos about that. And then out of the back of Home Depot is where it looks like a tunnel was cut, ditch was cut right here, aimed directly at my house. And in the backyard is one of the 4 underground homes that I was documenting multiple people saying was here. Okay. This one here, okay, this shows the tunnel coming from Home Depot to my house again, or where it's believed to be. And then after I showed Homeland where that was in 2019, they dug up the ground and poured concrete. I got it on video. And that was July 17th. This is July 2nd, July 17th, July 30th. Senior Congressman Mike Conaway announces retirement. Come to find out, his brother-in-law used to live across the street from my house. Long suspected that the reason Conaway announced that retirement was because I had got it on film about them pouring concrete over at Home Depot. Here we are. This is the map I found on Google Maps, showing the underground home in my backyard, or what it's believed to be, and I notified the city of Midland, and that was deleted right there, so you can no longer see it. But I got all these print screens. And there's Tisha again. There's Jessica says, I've been 2,000 old. I tell you what, there's more than just that one that was murdered, raped, because she didn't do whatever they wanted her to do, you know. And that's what I felt like, you know, that that these girls and women, they don't have no choice. Literally, there ain't no police to turn to. On November 10th, 2012, I messaged my former supervisor, Dane, okay, and I asked him for the documentation proving I'd reported them 5 people. I said, Dane, do you have the documentation of me reporting you the 5 people I believe have the knowledge of people breaking my home? Well, he blocked me and never answered the question, okay. And then after the fact, I believe most all of them were laid off, plus I was put on long-term disability, as I said. And then the HR manager, and it was HR that would be laying me off and all that. She gets on Facebook, Shayna Troyer, and says, I don't know, I appreciate my name being associated with your batshit lunatic cravings. Well, smearing my name's a first sign for me that somebody knows something about the crimes and murders here. I'll be getting a lawyer for defamation, and for now you can get a lawyer for me taking a screenshot of what you said. Okay, and then here, the home invasion and violent crime left me crippled, without a job, and my name smeared literally around the world. And I was a 28-year employee who had hired on with the Phillips Gas Company in 1983, And the only thing I did was buy a home and report crimes to the Midland police, not knowing they were involved in these crimes, and might still be, I mean, I don't know if they're digging over there to try to expose the crimes and murders, or they're trying to cover it up. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.